Alright guys, I want to show you how to create your own highlighter palette set. So we'll go up to the tools and we'll open up the highlighters. We can make this a little bigger. What you notice here is that Logos has a lot of prepackaged palettes. And these might be fine for you. You can look through all of these. They're prepackaged and they're basic. But you can create your own palettes as well. So you can see there's discourse analysis, there's my markings. I created my own, lots of different ones. I created one for Liberty University courses. King Herod is in here. Up here at the top we have new palette. We'll click that. You see down here at the bottom it gives me an untitled. Now I already had one here. So let me delete that. Go to this untitled and let me rename this, and I'm just going to name this test. So in test I'm going to click on that little down arrow key and I'm going to create a new style. This is going to be the highlighter pen. So a new style. Now a new box comes up and it wants me to name the pen. So I have, you could think of it this way. I have a box of crayons or a box of highlighters. That's the palette. And then within that box of highlighters are individual pens. That's what we're looking at here. So you want to name each pen something that would be important, something that would be recognizable, something that you would remember. So I'm just going to do test because this is just a test. And it's going to give me a preview of whatever I do. Below this, you'll notice I have various options. There's font styling, there's background, text effects, borders. We'll go through all of this. Insert text, labeling, all that kind of stuff. So here I can just change the font. So let's do something very different. There we go. So you can see that font. We can even change the size of the font, which is interesting. And you see again you have that preview window. So let's do something really weird. We'll do 180. We can change the color of the font. We'll do a brown. We can add bold if we want. We can add italics. We can make it all small caps. We can make it large caps. We can switch between all of this stuff. We can make it subscript. All of those kinds of things are available to us if we want to use that. If you don't like any of that, you can just go back, don't save it, and then start again. Add a new style. So it'll start you all over again. It's only once you save it. Now if you save it, you can delete it. That's true. But we are going to start again. So we can go through, we can look at these fonts. We can add background. So we can add background color. So this would be like your solid highlighter. So you can change the highlighting color to whatever you'd like. So you can change the style, and you can do a natural one if you want, more natural highlighter style, almost looks like a pen. Or you can do a solid color or no background. So you can change these. So you can change the color of the actual text. You can change the background color, highlight. You can do text effects. So you can have the text glow. It's hard to see there. Let me go to the font and up this font a little. Alright, so there we can see what it actually looks like. So you can glow the background if you want with different colors. You can do an outline so that there's outline to the text. And this would be different colors. You can do shadows. So if you want to add a shadow to it, you can see it behind it. There's all these different options, or you can do none. So that's text effects. You can do borders and lines. So again, you can do solid, you can do dashes, you can do wavy, you can do jagged, you can do all these things for borders. So let's do jagged. You see that here. I can change the color of the line, the border, and then I can do single or double or triple. Maybe I want 3 lines, something like that. And then I can decide where I want the lines. You see, that's what this is telling me. Do I want it to strike it, go through it? Do I want it on the top, the sides? Do I want it out to the side so that it's not next to the text but out? So you could do a whole lot of these. You could do every single side, underline. You see that? Again, the preview shows all of that. That looks excessive. So you may not want to do all of that, right? But again, an example. You might like some of these. Maybe you just want them below. Again, you can change the thickness of it, thinness of it. Do you want it? How thick do you want it? So again, no border, borders, different kinds. Images. You can actually add images to the text. So here are some prepackaged images that they give you so that you could look through and add these if you'd like, or you can choose a file yourself. That gets more complicated when you want to choose your own file, but let's just say, for the sake of illustration, let's use this little fire symbol. Let's say we like that. Now we're going to decide, do we want it before? Do we want it in the left margin? That means it would be outside the text. Do we want it to start? That is, on the beginning of the word, right over the letter. Do we want it in the center? Do we want it at the back? Do we want it after it? Do we want it in the right margin? So out to the side. All of those options. Let's do it right before it. And what is that? Do we want normal? Do we want it above? You notice how it will go above it, below it. Do we want it to be superscript so that it's a small image? Do we want it to be subscript as a small image? We're going to do normal just for this illustration. And what is the percentage? How prominent do we want it to be? Let's do 50%. And then you can insert text. So if I wanted to put something, let's say after, because I got that symbol before, maybe after I would want some words, but I want to make sure that it's not part of the text. So let me click this capsule and let me label this fire. And again, I can change the color of the capsule. You see that here? So I can change the color of that capsule. Now, I don't have to have a capsule. I can just have it as fire. If I do just fire, what I might want to do is put it in brackets. Something along those lines. I might even want to put some space in between that because I don't want it to be directly up against it. So I'm going to do that, but let me change the color. I'm going to change the color to a dark red. And then there's labeling that you can do. This style implies a label. This gets much more complex. We won't deal with that right now. But let's save this and let's see how this will work. So let's open up our Bible, randomly pick something. So let's say now Peter and John were going up to the temple at the hour of prayer. I'm going to highlight prayer and I'm going to click on this highlighter pen, and so there you go. So notice what we did. Notice that the text of the Bible, prayer, is changed. The word that's in the Bible is now massive and it is bold. Notice also we have that little fire picture before it, and we have the word fire after it. So this is how you can create your own palettes and your own pens. Now you could also go to that pen and give it a shortcut key. And let's say you want to make this shortcut key, where are we at? F. F for fire, right? So then when I'm going through, I could highlight a word and just push the keyboard button F. There it is. I could highlight a whole bunch of stuff and push F, and it's going to put fire at the end, the little fire image. So I'm going to highlight all of this. I'm going to right click and I'm going to go to this highlighter and go right here. This is the remove highlighting. So I click that. All that highlighting has been removed. So if you highlight something accidentally or you don't like the way it looks, I push F. I don't like that. Then I can just highlight it, right click it, and get rid of that. Just remember that if you actually highlight other, if you select other areas that are highlighted and you click the remove highlighting, it's going to remove that from all of it. So just make sure you're careful on removing those kinds of things. I can go back to this highlighter pen. I can change the name of the palette, right, the box. I can change the name of the style itself. I can edit it. If I go to edit, I can change things. And so let me show you this example because this is helpful. So I've highlighted Peter, but let's say I change the style. I add just a bunch of things. Let's say I think that's too big. I'm going to go back to 100%. I'm going to do a background effect of solid color. I'm going to do a light purple. And then I save this. I want you to notice what happened. See, the highlight has changed in the Bible. So if I change the highlighter style in this highlighter pen palette area, it's going to change it for all of them. So I could go through and say, you know, I don't really like the image, or I don't like where it is, or whatever. I'm going to change. I'm going to put it in the center. I'm going to make it 100%, and then I'm going to save. So you notice it's changed. Could edit this. Go back to the, where am I looking? The image, that's what I'm looking for. Go here. What image do I want? I could change the image in here. Let's do that and save. So now I have a different image that's in there, colors. So you can play with this. And if you do not like this style, it's not for you, then you can just delete it. So you delete it. Now it's going to say there's annotations in your Bible. Do you want to just remove it, or do you want to change the highlight? I'm just going to delete the style. Now it deletes it from my Bible. So that's no longer there. So then, again, I can go back to my test case. I can create a new one. You can change what notebook it is assigned to. This can be helpful too. So active notebook means any notebook that you start using that becomes your active one. But you can change this. You can say that I don't want this associated with any notebook. Or you can create a notebook for Bible or for your palette or something, and then you can make it part of that notebook so that every time you highlight something with that particular palette, that particular pen or set of pens that are in that box, then it will connect it to a specific note file, that is, like a notebook. So you could do that. So you could make this Bible 2 pens. Okay, so Bible 2 pens. I'm going to go back up here because it puts it in alphabetical order. Add a new style. This is going to be the author. And the font I want for author is, let's say I want it to be this. I want it to be about 120. And I want, let me just do a basic, let me do dash. We'll do a single dash, and we will do orange, and we will do it under the text, and we'll save that. So let me go to Jude. Let me also open up a new note. Go to my notes. Let me create a new notebook. So I'm going to go to Notebook, New Notebook, Bible 2 highlights. Okay, Bible 2 highlights. Now what I want to do is come back to my pen here, and I want to make it not the active, but I want it to be connected to Bible 2 highlights. So all my highlights now for this palette, the only one in here is author, but I could continue to add more to this Bible 2 pens. They're all going to be in that notebook that I just created, Bible 2. So Bible 2 highlights, open that up. I don't have anything here yet. But as I go through, I'm going to highlight Jude, a servant of Jesus Christ and brother of James. Now you may not want to do it this way. This is just an example. I'm going to click author. So there's my author. All right, I know that's Jude, a servant of Jesus Christ. Again, that might not be appealing to you. You might want to play with the font and those kinds of things.